Together we'll see who dies and survives, circled around a sacred fire, strumming along with our favorite lyre. Adventure called the quest awaits, your destiny's in the hands of the fates. But never fear, we're all friends here, we'll have your back when danger's near. Come with us through the pages as we unravel a tale for the ages into the Percy-Verse.
Hello and welcome to the Percy-Verse podcast. I'm Alisa.
And I'm Anna. Get ready to meet some old frenemies because today we're reading chapter 17. We get a surprise on Miami Beach. In this chapter, Percy finally realizes who the main character of the book is. We finally hear Clarice's prophecy, and Camp Half-Blood finally finds out that, surprise, Luke is evil.
So many finalies.
We are getting to the end of the book, so it does kind of make sense.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
As you were saying that, my brain was just playing at last. Just like, all these things are happening.
All these things are happening. Yes.
Yes.
We're out of the Sea of Monsters.
We are. And in getting out of it, we have our first, time scene jump where we don't pick up immediately where we left off, because
this book was very sequential.
It was. We left off with Percy falling asleep on the back of one of the hippocampi, and we begin this chapter with Annabeth waking him up.
Yes.
And so we
with
kind of
salt water on his face, which is
they're in the ocean. They don't, there's the only water that Annabeth's working with there.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I think it's more so that the sea is doing it because Annabeth is just shaking.
That's true. You're right.
His shoulder.
Right.
Yeah, she's not
inadvertent salt water
splashing
up.
But yes, they have arrived at Miami, Florida. The hippocampi took them a solidly long distance based on where we kind of estimate the Sea of Monsters to be.
Yeah. You have to wonder, I think, how time and space works in the Sea of Monsters, too.
Yes.
I was curious if, is this a linear path that they just swam really fast, which I believe that they could, or is there something kind of magical about traversing the Sea of Monsters as well?
Also, one of my big questions was, it was very difficult for them to enter the Sea of Monsters. Is there, an easy exit door?
Right.
Do they not have to... where's the exit? How did the hippocampi exit? We don't know. They were all asleep.
Well, they are magical creatures, so maybe that helps. But maybe they should have done that from the beginning. They should have just, rode magical creatures into the Sea of Monsters, and that's the way that you can get in and out easily.
Maybe that's the secret, yeah.
Maybe. That's the loophole. But this kind of goes back to my question when we were first entering the Sea of Monsters and they weren't getting attacked. Or not first entering. It was later, when they were on the pirate ship. And I was like, why aren't they being attacked? Yeah, and I thought maybe everyone's afraid of the ship. Pirate, the ship itself has this association. Maybe that's a thing, but I think that I have this curiosity of does the Sea of Monsters, in the Sea of Monsters, do the monsters want to be left alone? Or do they want to eat humans, and demigods? Yeah. That's what I can't tell, because you would kind of think that monsters, even Polyphemus is luring satyrs in there. So, do the monsters want demigods and humans in there as, food? Or do they want peace and quiet, and so they make it hard to enter and easy to leave?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, the only, quote-unquote monsters we really interacted with were the sirens and Polyphemus, and both just used luring tactics essentially, because Circe lives in a different kind of
and then it was just the two monsters Scylla and
at the entrance
to get it, Charybdis to get it.
So it to me seems like the energy of the Sea of Monsters on the part of the monsters is, we're just here to chill and live our lives. You know,
but if
less,
they're luring people in, then they want them.
Well, Polyphemus is, but the sirens can't do anything unless you're close enough to their island,
which they lure you to.
Well, right, but only when you're actually passing by there. It's not like the whole time they were in the Sea of Monsters, they were hearing this pull to the sirens. They had to be within...
It just seems like they have to eat.
No, I know. It is interesting. Yeah. It definitely... It feels like this interesting combination of, like, a sanctuary for monsters.
Yeah.
And also at the same time, like, inhabited by some that require, you know... meat, like human meat, and so how they acquire a sufficient amount, you know, unsure.
Yeah, it is interesting how few monsters we meet in the Sea of Monsters.
It is,
now that you say that.
Yeah, we meet very few, given that it's called the Sea of Monsters.
That is very interesting.
Like, we meet fewer, I'd argue, than it definitely sounds like Talia, Annabeth, Grover, and Luke encountered traversing the United States.
Say fewer than they did in the first book.
Yeah, in the whole of the first book. Also traversing the United States.
That's
like,
very
because the thing is, you know, like, in the way that we're told how it works in the world outside of the Sea of Monsters, and like regular Earth, is that the monsters are it's all smell based, and they're tracking demigods, and you know, it's much more like active pursuing, whereas Sea of Monsters, it seems like much more like passive on the part of the monsters.
If you happen to come by, they might eat you as a snack.
Yes.
But they're not going out to get you.
Right. They're not pursuing.
That's interesting.
Anymore.
Okay. I really feel like I want to understand more the, like, dynamics inside the Sea of Monsters. Like, who lives there? How do they interact with each other? Why are they so chill? Like, it's just, this is their living room, they're kicking back.
I also wonder, to a certain extent, I was just thinking about how, like, all of these, everything in this world is things taken from ancient Greece and transplanted onto, like, the current geography of, like, where it's trying to fit onto. So my brain was wondering, what was the original Sea of Monsters back in ancient Greece? Like, where would that have been located? And because the Mediterranean Sea, like, the seas available there are a lot smaller than, like, the Atlantic Ocean, for example, that I also couldn't help but wonder just now if, like, is it a situation where when the total sea available was a lot smaller, they got more heroes more regularly, but because they got moved to the Atlantic Ocean, you know, like, they're a little bit more kind of in the middle of nowhere feeling.
Because they're supposed to be in the Bermuda Triangle, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, which I don't know how big that area is.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Okay. Maybe we need to do some mapping. Do a little video looking at, like, what the Sea of Monsters was in, like, the Homer stories, and then what the Bermuda Triangle looks like.
Yeah, I'm looking up, like, the Bermuda Triangle. I'm, like, looking it up on Wikipedia right now, and it's not a massive area, because it's basically, like, east of Florida and, like, north of the Caribbean. It's like a triangle.
Yeah, that's not that big.
East of Florida, north of the Caribbean. So it's not a huge swath of, I mean, you know, I can't tell exactly how north it runs off the coast of the US, but it's like, it's not huge.
Well, and it says in ancient Greece, it was the Strait of Messina between Sicily and mainland Italy, which is also not very huge.
Yeah. But
which kind of makes sense as, like, Florida and the Caribbean and, like, the tip of Italy and
Florida and Italy are... Well, because they both, like, come out of the mass of land.
Exactly. No, that's what I'm saying. It actually works. Like, you lay it on that way. Yeah, I could see it.
But I'm sure, like, there would have been far more ship traffic.
Probably,
you know, like,
yes.
coming
Very
through
likely.
that area, rather than, you know, who's just kind of going around the east of Florida.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure there's fishing boats and stuff, but
probably a lot more. I'd imagine in the modern time, probably a lot more plane crashes, like they kind of saw on Cersei's Island. Like, you know, like there were those like the planes and helicopters and stuff. Like,
yeah, I don't know if cargo ships go by there or anything.
Oh yeah, that's true. I don't know. But anyways, that was all because I just wanted to know how they exited the Sea of Monsters.
Yes,
because
I think that is totally a fair question.
Getting in was quite a trial.
If it is their living room and they don't want to be disturbed, my theory would then be that it's easier to leave than to enter.
Yeah. But yes, they have exited. They have arrived at the Italy of the United States, Miami, Florida.
I don't think Italians would like that very
I
much.
don't think so. But that's
but
the
geographically, shape-wise is really what we're speaking to here. It's so funny.
But the hippocampi are not taking them all the way up to like the actual where the Florida where the Florida peninsula, right?
Yeah.
That's the third. Yeah. Thank you. Begins because they're not happy. Too many humans, too much pollution. So makes sense.
I feel like that's an area. I mean, maybe you think of it more in the Gulf of Mexico, but I'm like, there is oil in those waters. There's trash in those waters. Like,
well, between the jet skis and all of the boating and everything that would like be running, along the coast there. Not ideal water.
Here's a question.
Yes.
Percy can hear the hippocampi, right?
Yes, he can.
So it's interesting. The wording here was weird. It goes, they didn't look happy. One of them sneezed. I could tell what they were thinking. Yeah. And usually when you say you can tell what someone's thinking, you're intuiting or interpreting, not hearing directly. And I was like, why can't he hear them?
Maybe they're just like not communicating.
They're just not talking. They're just like
maybe they're just
complaining.
Like they like don't want to.
Yeah, they don't
actually
even
have to move their mouths, but they don't even. They're like,
okay,
get out of here. We got to get out of here right away. I also was curious about that because oftentimes we hear like, "My lord,
right.
Humans too nasty.
Yes, we cannot go further. Something. You are disgusting.
Yeah, right.
Get out of my sight." Yeah.
But no, they were not, I guess, feeling very chatty. In that moment.
That makes sense.
But they thank Rainbow and friends, Rainbow and gang. Tyson cries and importantly unfastens the makeshift saddle pack he had made, which is makeshift saddle pack, which is going to. My theme is like Tyson saves the day. Tyson saves the day.
Yes, that's what I said last time.
Tyson's constantly saving the day.
Poseidon and Tyson, and if Poseidon sent Tyson, then just Poseidon are the reason everything goes well in this book. Until Chiron later, I think. Yeah, because
Tyson has been keeping track of a lot of things, and right now we just get, it's his toolkit and a couple of other things he'd salvaged from the Birmingham wreck. When I read this, that immediately made me think of the watch and everything he's been tinkering with.
Yep,
which the watch shield. But also we soon discover all the other things that he salvaged, which were crucial and vital to the success of this mission. And so the hippocampi leave them. We don't really get a sense of how far out from shore. I was kind of curious, like how long they had to swim for, But the waves help them, push them forward. I guess Percy doesn't have to give them really any assist in that. And in no time, they're back in the mortal world, wandering along the cruise line docks. And we get this description of just how busy and bustling it is, and there's porters and taxi drivers, and basically so much is happening that people aren't really going to notice 5 kids dripping wet, looking like they've just been through an ordeal, essentially. And we also get, what's really fun is, since they're back in the mortal world, the mist is working again. So Tyson and Grover are incognito, but also the Fleece is now a red and gold high school letter jacket with a large glittery omega on the back, which is so fun to like learn what the Fleece transforms into.
Also, what a cool, I'd love to make that jacket. like a thing?
Yes.
What a cool jacket.
Yes. One ideal merch one day
yes.
is to be able to have
this jacket.
Oh my god, so cool. What's also kind of fun, I'll just say personally, very quickly, I recently bought the book No Friend to This House by Natalie Haynes, which is a retelling from many different points of view, but includes the story of Jason and the Argonauts going for the Golden Fleece. But like there's like chapters like from the perspective of like the ram and then like the mother. So it's very, very interesting. I like didn't realize, I hadn't like kind of fully put together when I bought the book that like there was that fun kind of like coincidence. So I was just reading, you know, the perspective from a very different take on the origins of it. That's of course a lot more heartbreaking and doesn't paint Jason and the Argonauts in, you know, the best.
Yeah, maybe we should do some breakdown videos sometime of like these different tellings of the stories.
Oh, I'd love to. That would be so much fun.
Yeah.
But Annabeth immediately goes to figure out basically what day it is, how long have they been gone. They don't
like the Lotus Casino.
Yes,
like,
it very much.
Run to the newspaper.
Yes, it reminded me a lot of that. And she discovers that it's June 18th. They have been away from camp from 10 whole days. And Clarice is shocked, Annabeth is shocked, but Percy's just kind of like, time works differently in monstrous places.
Yep. Glad it's not 20.
I know. What I did think about, and I kind of wondered, maybe we could like do a little bit more of a breakdown of this in a own separate video, but time working differently in monstrous places, the fact that Kronos has control over time, like there were just connections to me that I didn't know what they were really, but just that I noted. Yeah.
Interesting.
That I found interesting.
Okay.
And everyone is now panicking because they've been gone for 10 days about the state of Talia's tree. Is it already dead? Like, basically, have they passed the like time amount that they had in order to even complete this successfully and save the tree?
Yeah, because it's kind of interesting. Like, it's helpful in any action book to have a deadline, like to have a time clock that adds pressure. And I feel like in the first one, it was extremely specific. Like there was a very, like date-based deadline.
We had the solstice. Yes.
This one is like tree is dying and no one's like, oh, it will take exactly this amount of time for tree to die, you know, like, but they're just like, quickly, we need to, it's almost,
make haste.
It's dying, you know, so it's kind of interesting how they're navigating this more nebulous time
it is
constraint.
Yes. And Clarice is immediately feeling extremely defeated about, because Grover's saying they have to get the fleece back tonight, and Clarice is kind of going on very, very defeated, not feeling like there's any way that they're going to be able to get there in time because they don't have any money, they don't have any ride. And then she says that it's just like the Oracle said, and she says that it's Percy's fault if he hadn't interfered. Annabeth immediately gets mad and starts defending Percy, and he like steps in the middle, makes them both go shh. And we get this interesting admission where Percy says the thing was, I'd almost forgotten this quest was supposed to be Clarice's. And I'm like, not even supposed to be. Legitimately, you snuck away. You three snuck away from camp. You were not ever actually on a quest.
Yes.
Like, there's no supposed to be.
This is what I've been screaming at you the entire book, Percy. But thanks. I appreciate that you finally said the thing.
Yeah. And then he does. It's for a scary moment, which I was like, oh my God.
I know.
He saw things from her point of view, and he wonders how he would feel if a bunch of other heroes had butted in and made him look bad. And it's just like, yeah, dude, like...
Yeah, that's what you did.
There has not been much respect to the fact that Clarice was one given this quest, and whether they, you know, like, obviously Tantalus was being horrible about
whether
it.
that felt fair or not.
But the Oracle still gave her the prophecy. If she were not meant to go on this quest, the Oracle would not have given her a prophecy.
Nope.
But then we finally, like you said in the intro, get the reveal of what the Oracle told her because Percy asked her directly. Oh,
Can we, one thing real quick.
Mm-hmm.
We also get him remembering Ares yelling at her. And I think that this piece, when he says, for a scary moment I saw things from her point of view, it's like, empathy is frightening.
Right.
You know, it's like kind of how that lands. But to continue the frightening empathy, it's like he remembers hearing Ares, Clarice's dad, yelling at her and warning at her not to fail. And like he's really, really digging into the emotional stakes for Clarice of this quest, which is just something he hasn't let himself do before. And as we discussed during that chapter, is something he can uniquely empathize with.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, absolutely. And Clarice doesn't, tell him anything. Like, there's no backtalk, there's no arguing about it. She just recites her prophecy, which I'll say here is, you shall sail the iron ship with warriors of bone. You shall find what you seek and make it your own. But despair for your life entombed within stone, and fail without friends to fly home alone. And Grover immediately interprets it as like, yikes, we're screwed. But Percy, I think, having received a prophecy last year, is able to, I think, remember more immediately, like, the wording of a prophecy is never exactly like how it seems at first glance, and like it always makes sense, and kind of in a way where the heroes always become victorious. And he's asking if anyone has any money on them. Annabeth Grover.
I'm wondering if we should break down the prophecy before we keep going.
Oh, please. Yes. Absolutely.
I feel like we should break down the prophecy.
Yeah.
So you shall sail the iron ships with warriors of bone. So that's like...
Check.
Yes, we've been on the USS Birmingham.
Mm-hmm, the Birmingham, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I think it was
Confederate
actually the
soldiers.
CSS, because it's Confederate. I don't think it was USS. I think it was CSS.
Oh, that makes sense. CSS, sorry. CSS, that makes sense. CSS Birmingham with the Confederate soldiers that are skeletons. You shall find what you seek and make it your own. Now, here are we talking about the fleece?
Yeah, you shall find it. I mean, she's seeking the fleece. I wonder what the make it your own means.
I know.
Like...
Because who's wearing it?
Annabeth is still.
Annabeth is wearing it, yeah.
Because she needed all the healing.
That was the line I wasn't sure of, because despair for your life entombed within stone, I think, refers to the cave, Polyphemus' cave. And we're about to learn what the last line means. But I was just curious, like, what she's seeking that she makes her own, unless that also relates to this last line.
Yeah. Is there anything else? This is where, like, what was she doing in the Sea of Monsters between when the Birmingham blows up and they reunite at Polyphemus' island? Like, I don't know if maybe the answer lies in that time span, if it isn't in relation to the fleece. Right. And that she will find what she's seeking there.
Unless it means, okay, it could also mean, back to the conversation with Ares. Yeah. Because she is also seeking, like, triumph or courage or, something, military prowess or something. So it could refer to something less tangible or less physical, like... Right, yeah. Like, seeking of... Like, she does make a victory out of different parts of it, maybe?
Yeah, that could be potentially it. And the last line, and fail without friends, comma, to fly home alone. Yes. Which Percy rightfully interprets as she will fail without any friends, and, like, as having those said friends, she will fly home alone. Yes. To be victorious.
Both and.
Yes.
Both and, Clarice. Both and.
Yes.
Not either or is how she's reading it.
And as Percy's asking everyone for if they have money, Tyson's like, cash? Do you mean the green paper? Like the kind we had in the duffel bags? And Percy's like, but we lost those days. And Holt says, Tyson, rummages through his saddlebag and pulls out a Ziploc bag full of cash that's
Tyson.
from what Hermes had given to them. So, you know, from the very, very beginning, has survived so much. And Tyson thought it was a feed bag.
This is like an ad for Ziploc bags. This is like sponsored by Ziploc.
That's so true, because it is a Ziploc bag. Yeah, they're getting the...
Do you want a bag that can make it through the Sea of Monsters and out again with your cash intact and dry?
Explodes and floats in the Sea of Monsters because Tyson finds it floating in the sea. It's not like Tyson already tucked it away.
It's even capitalized Ziploc. Yes. This is just like an ad. This is like what is it? Native advertising?
Yes.
This is just like old-fashioned native advertising. How much money did they pay you, Rick Riordan?
And Tyson hands it over, and it's at least $300, which, you know, at this point in time is, I think, a last-minute flight from Miami to New York City, because that would be a pricey flight. Like same day, last minute.
That would be a pricey flight, but you know,
I think early 2000s,
20 years ago, I think.
Yeah, 20.
That's weird, but yes, I think that would work for 20 years ago.
And so Percy immediately, like, bag in hand, grabs a taxi, tells Clarice to get the taxi, Annabeth to give her the fleece, hands her the money, and tells Clarice that she's going to the airport. And everyone, this is what was interesting to me. So everyone is like stunned that Percy does this.
Yes.
And he does reiterate, like, they only have money for one flight. He can't travel by air. And it's like, and the prophecy says, like, that like she's the one who has to fly home alone. Not Annabeth, not Grover. Yeah, exactly. Everyone is like so stunned.
Yes.
Especially on the following page. Because Clarice is a little suspicious, and then she's like, you can count on me. I won't fail.
Yeah.
She leaves.
Yeah, which I really love that moment.
Yes.
Because it feels like this whole little moment, we'll get to everyone's reactions, and that'll be a thing we can dissect for sure. But this moment just between the two of them, it's like Percy is like, you're the one. Mm-hmm. You're the chosen one, Clarice.
Yeah.
I trust you. Like he is offering respect, which he does not do normally with Clarice.
Yeah.
But her reaction is to offer respect back.
Yeah,
like,
it is.
Like, she doesn't say, of course I'm the hero, I got this, or whatever. Like, finally you see reason or something. She's like, you can count on me. I won't fail. Like, she's showing respect back to Percy because you can count on me is like what you would say to someone who's like
on your team. To me, this was like, they have become a team. Like, in this final moment in their separation is when they become a team really for the first time. Exactly. Because she's doing it for the team. Like, for everyone. For this team here, for the team at Camp Half-Blood, like, for everyone. She's doing this.
Exactly. And they, like, lock in. And it's a really, really beautiful moment given everything that has happened between them in the last two books.
Yes. Absolutely. I completely agree. And but then their reactions. Again, I know I have to keep on reminding myself that, like, I am an adult and they are middle school kids.
I know.
And so I think their reactions for their age make sense. I think
I'm actually most annoyed at Grover, to be honest. Because Grover is actually about to, like, be, like he's participating in this with Annabeth.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Annabeth kind of makes sense, but Grover's like
I
off on his quest.
Annabeth makes sense. Annabeth's response of, because the way it goes is Annabeth starts with Percy, that was so, and Grover offers generous, and Annabeth corrects to say insane. You're betting the lives of everybody at camp that Clarice will get the fleece safely back by tonight. Yeah. To me, Annabeth's response, like Grover calling Percy generous. I'm like, you're generous for calling this generous. Like, the point, like, y'all, like, everyone wants this thing to happen, but Annabeth calling it insane. And the wording to me landed like Annabeth didn't believe that Clarice could do that.
Yeah, for whatever reason. How Percy thought at the beginning of the book.
Yes. And I'm like, I just keep on wanting to be like, Clarice has been living at Camp Half-Blood this whole year. She was dealing with the bulls before they showed up. She was dealing with all of, like, the encroachments on camp before any of them showed up. She has been defending camp with her life.
Yeah, I guess this is more like a Percy line that Annabeth is now saying, right?
Yeah. Like, the doubt to, like, I'm like, Clarice, for me, it's the fact that it feels like they're doubting Clarice's love for camp. Like, just because she was, like, mean to them.
I don't feel like they're doubting her love for camp. I think they're, like, it's doubting her skill.
Yeah, that too.
Which I think is, like, laughable, given everything that she's demonstrated.
I know.
I don't know, I guess one thing that I don't know that we know.
Yeah.
Is if Clarice has bullied Annabeth.
Right. I mean,
I don't know if we know that.
We have definitely gotten some, like, she calls Annabeth wise girl, which I remember discovering be like, she's the originator of, like,
yes,
that is like a bullying
I still am confused about that being an insult. Yes,
like they have tension in the Lightning Thief. Like, they don't get along, like, we don't know if there has been outright bullying in the way that there was outright bullying towards
because
Percy.
I think that's kind of how we've empathized a little bit with Percy's kind of unreasonable perception of Clarice is like when someone is super mean to you, then you're not going to be inclined to like view them in a good light.
Yeah.
So that could be some of what's happening here. I just don't know if we don't have as, like, we don't know that Annabeth ever got, like, her head pushed in a toilet kind of level of bullying,
Yeah, and in general, Clarice has not been, like, a kind person to the people. No. Not just outside of her cabin. Within her cabin,
They wouldn't go with her.
So, like, not liking her makes sense, and struggling with that makes sense, and I can have that empathy. I think I just, like, I really dislike it when these characters, when it extends to them fundamentally questioning her ability, which is like, that just makes no sense. And she is
This might be a good time to talk about internalized misogyny.
Yeah.
Just because, like, a lot of the time also when we talk about Percy, we're just like, well, sexism is here. Is happening, is a thing. And I, like, one of the really frustrating things about patriarchy is it oftentimes makes women each other's harshest critics.
Yes. Yeah.
And perhaps there's an element here of internalized misogyny on Annabeth's part.
Yeah. Yeah, potentially, because, the other thing that I just keep on coming back to is, like, neither Annabeth nor Percy were at camp all of last year. Right. Clarice was, which not only means that she's been training the whole year, which Percy and Annabeth haven't been, and we've seen the impacts of that in Percy's fighting, that he's not as good because he's spent almost a whole year not training. So not only has Clarice been prepping so much more than they have, but also, like, she's been present. And I wonder if there maybe is, this is me probably reading too much into everything, but like, Annabeth has this kind of, like, I've been at camp the longest, I am leader, I am, even though I'm young, I am, like, leader of camp. But she pieced out, which is her right to do. Like, she tried to, resolve things with her dad. It didn't go the way that she wanted to. She had to leave again. But it meant that she hadn't been at camp for a whole year, for the first time in a long time, But Clarice
and then that ends up being the year that her, like, friend's tree gets poisoned.
Yes.
Like, I'm sure she has some guilt swimming in the water there.
Absolutely. And in that whole time, Clarice has been the one holding it down at camp and been the one being the leader at camp and protecting camp when Annabeth wasn't there and wasn't doing that. So I wonder if there's, in the way that with all the stuff with Tyson, Percy would get so mad at Annabeth, but he's really, like, mad at himself. Like, I also wonder if there's maybe a little bit of that mixed in there.
I could absolutely see that, because you would think that, like, if it wasn't that at all, Annabeth would actually be pretty grateful to Clarice, you know? And so the fact that she's not, I think, like, means this layer is definitely there. I mean, it could be a variety of these factors.
I think Annabeth probably wants to be the one to deliver it herself. Like, I think she doesn't, I don't think she likes...
Yeah,
it's for Talia and it's for camp. Like,
and all this time, Percy was like on her side about this, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Like, Percy was like being really mean about Clarice, and that probably made Annabeth like feel better about how she felt about Clarice. And it's like it's like any kind of in-group, out-group, friend group dynamic. Totally. Like, then all of a sudden your friend is like nice to this person, and you're like, wait, but we hated her. What?
Right.
Like, I feel like that's a little bit what's happening here. Wait, you're letting her go save my like bestest friend who is a tree? Like, that's not fair. I'm wearing the fleece. I want to save my friend. We didn't like her. I thought we didn't like her. Like, what? Which is why I think it's like, maybe that's where the intensity comes from. Because sometimes when you're thrown off, you over-exaggerate your point. Right. Not that I'm speaking from experience or anything.
Of course not.
I've never done that.
I've never done that ever in my entire life.
I cannot relate at all to
always
this
been
moment.
A deeply mature person.
Right. Okay, so maybe we've unpacked some of the
we've unpacked it. I think we've
you
brought the understanding that I was missing. I think it's so funny. I was not expecting my experience of the Sea of Monsters to become such a like ardent Clarice defender, but I feel like my experience of reading this book has been like, everyone leave Clarice alone. Stop being so mean to her.
Totally. I think that's totally fair. And again, like, it is so good and important to see many sides to characters. Yeah. And this book flips the script a little bit and forces us to see some of the biases of the characters we've come to love, and some of the like to empathize with the experience of, and even root for some of the characters that were you know, like antagonists in the first book. And I think that is great. I think that brings a complexity to humans that gosh, we just don't have enough of in this world right now, actually.
Percy has sent Clarice is on her way to the airport, and that's when, as soon as Percy is kind of telling the gang, like, all right, let's figure out another way home, he turns around and Luke has arrived. And I was just and Percy finds a sword's point at his throat, and my brain thought, just in the nick of time is a fun pun. For just he's, you know, throat nicked with the
Nick. Yeah, and totally.
Clarice has leaved. Like,
well,
that
it
timing
truly is. Like, immediately validating Percy's decision here.
Yes.
Immediately. It's like, which I think is so cool. Like, I just wanted to talk for a minute here about writing.
Yes.
Like, storytelling. It is not just that Percy's growth arc in this book led him to make a correct decision and interpret a prophecy correctly and be selfless in a way that he needed to be, and choose to not be the hero, as we've discussed that theme. It's that, like, immediately the potential consequences of not having done that are presented to us. Like, I think that just ups the stakes of the decision. Like, it tells you how crucial it is that Percy, he didn't argue about it. He just immediately makes his gut decision. Because what we learn is, like, Kronos would have come back 10 times quicker if Percy had just, like, not had a growth arc in this book.
Right. Yeah, a growth arc in combination with the other thing that I felt like I really noticed in this ending is not only the growth that he needs to go through to be like, Clarice, you're it, it's you, but also, like, the growth in his own self-confidence. That he, like, trusted that gut and that, like, I know this is what needs to happen, and it's happening. Because, like, he makes similar calls like that, you know, kind of, like, throughout this, where he's thinking on his feet really well, really quickly, and he's not, like, doubting himself or, like, the kind of plays that he's calling, for lack of a better analogy. Like,
no, totally.
He's just calling them and he's doing them. Because if he had paused for, like, a second to be like, I don't know. What do we think? I think maybe Luke is there and sees Clarice and we're done. You know?
Yep.
And so I think many, like, his experience, I feel like we're really starting to see that turn into very important, like, self-trust and self-confidence.
Yeah,
that,
totally.
You know, when you're a demigod, you have to have, because you have to make so many immediate, in the middle of life and death situations, like, decisions. Yeah. And there's not room for being like, I don't know.
Totally. Yeah, totally.
So yes, Luke is there he's the welcoming party.
Totally who you want.
For the group.
Welcoming you to Miami
He's
Beach.
accompanied by the 2 bear men that we met back at the beginning of the book, at the Princess Andromeda. I was also thinking, this book has a really fun symmetry because because we're now back at the Princess Andromeda like we were when we started the quest, and then, you know, spoiler alert, we will redo the chariot races we did before the quest even started, but after the quest is finished. So
you're right.
There's a really fun storytelling symmetry.
Well, and we were commenting at the beginning of how quickly we get to the Princess Andromeda, like how early in the book, and now this is quite late in the book.
I know.
It is very paralleled.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
That's very interesting.
I found that fun. And immediately one of the bearmen grabs Annabeth and Grover. Another tries to grab Tyson, but Tyson is unbelievably strong, is fighting him off, and Luke basically tells Percy to tell Tyson to knock it off. Otherwise, Oreos, I think it's said, but the Return of Oreos. Is going to bash Annabeth and Grover's heads together, which is not very nice. Goodness.
This starts Luke. We're gonna talk about Luke. Keep going.
We will.
We're gonna talk about Luke.
And Percy very angrily is asking Luke what he wants, and Luke gestures towards the end of the dock where Percy finally notices, which should have been far more obvious, straight out of the gate, which is that the biggest boat in port was the Princess Andromeda. Because as a reminder, this is the book of scale questions. Like, we got at the beginning with, like, is Annabeth really 5'9"? in book 1, because the evidence states that she is. But this book is really
have I finally convinced you?
I never doubted you. It's just funny to me. And it's like funny to me how important it is to you that Annabeth is 5'9".
So important.
But the description of the Princess Andromeda was massive.
Yes.
So, like, we do get told that, like, the harbor's filled with sailboats and cruise ships. Yep. So, like, it wouldn't be the only cruise ship, but this is a massive ship, and it is the biggest one there. And it has the woman at the front. It is a little bit like...
Yep. It's very distinctive.
It's a touch of the oversight, on all of them that none of them noticed. Like, I don't fault them. They just got out of the Sea of Monsters. They're all exhausted. Totally. They still have so much more to go. But it is a little bit like,
I did super underline and star on the second full paragraph of this chapter. At the end, it says, the harbor filled with sailboats and cruise ships. And I was like, cruise ships, guys, cruise ships. Right. But of course, I have read this book before, so.
And the characters are, they experiencing it for the first time. They're in the book.
Yeah,
for the first
every time. Ooh.
It's the first time for them.
Every single time, it's the first time for the characters.
Wow. Deep.
I don't know. It's giving Inkheart. But anyway.
It is giving Inkheart.
It's
but
there.
we end this first section of the chapter with Luke saying he wants to extend his hospitality, of course, which means get on the big old boat.
Like James Bond villain or something.
Very.
Like twiddling his mustache.
Yes, he needs to have a cat that he's petting. He needs to be bold now. He's like...
Yeah. There's a villainy, like a cheesy villain too. Because I want to expend my hospitality, of course.
I know, because where he thinks I've done it, I've fooled them, I've won.
He's very certain they have the fleece.
Yeah, he's kind of doing vibrato, mustache twirling,
cocky kid.
But he has.
He doesn't know. He doesn't know. He he does not correctly interpret what Percy might do. Like, he has not assumed Percy has had a growth arc this season.
And also, he kind of doesn't think to ask, hey, where's Clarice?
Yeah,
which is like, my guy, come on.
Well, because he would not even necessarily assume they're together.
Yeah.
So, yep. So the bear twins are herding them onto the Princess Andromeda, and they throw them down on the aft deck, which was a new nautical term for me, aft.
Yes.
And we have that swimming pool that we've heard about before, and we get reminded that there are fountains spraying into the air, which will come later into play. And we have a description of basically like Luke's crew that's aboard. That's on deck. We have the Lystragonians, snake people, demigods in battle armor, and then Percy refers to how they're going to give them hospitality, in quotes. And then Luke's just like, where's the fleece, guys?
Yeah.
Because he just really assumes that they have it. And so he's trying to, like, poke at them, and he, like, pokes at Grover's jeans, and Grover's like, there's real goat fur under here, sir.
Also, I'm like, Luke, you gotta know that the fleece is pretty big and would have transformed into something approximately close in size. Yeah. Like, you think they kind of just tucked it up under their shirts.
Right. There's not just like a bulge of like material. Yeah, exactly. And he says to Grover to just give the fleece over and he'll let him return to his little nature quest, which questionable if that's
disrespect towards Pan.
The disrespect.
Call it a little nature
the
quest.
Disrespect. You mean to, like, save the environment of Earth, Luke? It's no surprise that Luke doesn't care that much about that.
No.
And I appreciate Grover, you know, because he says old friend. He calls him old friend. And Grover's like, blah, some old friend. Which I think is, like, good. Because Grover, he's like, well, I yada. Well, I yada. And Luke is then getting, like, really serious. He's like, where's the fleece? And Percy is like, not here. And he's just like, I had a growth arc and you didn't even know about it. Haha. Like, he's so proud of himself.
He is.
He's like, it felt too good to not throw the truth in his face.
Yeah.
We sent it on ahead of us. You messed up. And Luke's like, you're lying. And then he realizes, his face is reddening, that it's Clarice. And he, too, is like, you trusted? You caved? Everyone is like, you're over it. You're over it.
I'm over it.
You're rolling your eyes.
Over everyone.
Yeah.
Hating Clarice because, like, you know, Clarice didn't do anything to Luke. Luke is years older than her. Clarice hasn't done a single thing to Luke in the history of being at camp.
He just knows that she beat up on Percy. And he's just assuming that Percy has no ability to look beyond that.
Yeah.
Because Luke has no ability to look beyond a grudge.
Right. Yeah. And I do want to make a slight note that both, like, in this moment, before Luke realizes that he underestimated Percy, they both have, like, their taunting moments. Because Percy thinks before saying we sent it on ahead of us that he probably shouldn't say anything that specific.
Yes.
And he does because he wants to have his he does. Moment too. So they both did a little. Because I'm like, you could have just said we don't got it and not revealed that you did successfully procure it and someone else is transporting it back to camp.
Yep. He definitely puts the entire plan in jeopardy by doing this. Just to, like, rub it in Luke's face.
Yeah. Yes.
So completely. It's like maybe undermining his growth arc just a wee bit.
Definitely.
Just a little tiny bit.
Yes.
But yeah, it's hard, I think, when Luke, who is always on his mind, is like taunting him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They are really good at getting under each other's skin.
They really are. Yeah, they really are.
They're both very skilled.
They're very skilled at that. I just had this, like, thought that I don't have a full evidence for yet of sort of like a yin and yang between Percy and Luke. The first thing that came to mind is like mom who is great, mom who is struggling. The magical parallel is severely mentally ill. Yeah. Like versus a mom who is very present and supportive and, you know, there. And I think there could be more. So I don't know. I kind of want to think about that. Because oftentimes characters who can do that with each other and are kind of always locked like this have these like opposing but balancing experiences, you know?
Yeah. Unlike Percy, Luke was very aware of Hermes from a young age.
Yep.
You know,
whereas... Yep, exactly. Yep. I think there may be some ways in which they contrast and balance each other.
Yeah.
That could be interesting. So we have, again, Agrius and Oreos are there, and Luke is trying to make Agrius prepare his steed and bring it to the deck so he can fly to the Miami airport.
A very important steed.
But also betraying that, like, Percy should not have said anything. Like, Luke is then immediately able to pivot and be like, I gotta get to the airport. It's kind of funny. It's like in a rom-com. You know, you need to, like, run to the airport, but it's really, like, to get the fleece.
I meant to look this up and I forgot, but I was realizing that, like, I think Miami must only have one airport, which I know a lot of cities do, but I was thinking, like, New York City, like, you've got JFK, but then you also have LaGuardia, so it's, like, in a city with two airports, or, like, LA has multiple, like, of, like, which airport are we going to? We don't know. We have to make a choice, or, you know, like, split up the team to, like... hunt at the correct airport. Which
that would be a better city for Percy to admit it than Miami, I think. Yes. So Agrius actually doesn't want to do this, and Luke threatens to feed him to the Draken. And so this is all just also giving us reinforcement. Like, Luke is evil. Like, Luke is more immediately just in this whole book, I think, just in this like threatening kind of urgent place. Yeah. Right? And he goes down the stairs to Agrius, and Luke is pacing in front of the swimming pool, cursing in ancient Greece, gripping his sword so tight his knuckles turn white. Like, he is angry.
And you can tell immediately how thrown he is, that he was not expecting or planning for this in any way, that he was very much ready for the victory lap of, I tricked you to go do the hard thing and retrieve the fleece, and... He did not have a plan B for it gets away from him in Miami.
No, he really, really doesn't. Like, he does not expect this. And Percy, as he's looking at the swimming pool and the fountains and the rainbow in the sunset, he has an idea. And he starts to, like, what's the opposite of a villain, like a hero monologue? Like, he's like... He's forcing a villain monologue by monologuing at Luke. Do you know what I mean? Yes. And he's like, you've been toying with us all along. And he starts to, like, say Luke's plan, you know? And he's like, you wanted us to bring the fleece. And Luke's like, of course, you idiot, and you messed everything up. He's giving, like, Scar right now. He's really giving Scar.
And
like, with Agrius,
like, and... It is also very much that James Bond villain. It's like Percy's trying to really force the...
Totally. The monologue. It's like James Bond villain meets Scar. That's like what, and Scar is named Scar, and Luke has a scar, so that is even more perfect.
Wait, that's a fun parallel.
Yes,
that's a fun. I'm gonna sit with that for later on, but that's a fun parallel. Yep. Okay.
Yep. If in his "Be Prepared" song, he's more saying "Be prepared" for like. He's not ascending, it's like Cronus is ascending, but eventually it's in his body, so maybe. Maybe. I like a version of Be Prepared where, like, Cronus is already in Luke's body and he's, like, doing Be Prepared.
Totally.
You know?
Yes.
That's interesting. But basically, Percy has just been trying to, like, work this up so that what he's going to do next doesn't seem really weird. Because if Percy just threw a random drachma at Luke with no lead up to it, it would, like, be obviously weird.
Yeah.
It's still weird, but...
It is still weird. I also have some questions about, like, the configuration of where everyone's standing. That means that none of them catch that an iris message has begun. That felt a little
just
like
all in a line.
I know,
Facing away from the
this
pool.
is a swimming pool, and there's the fountain. I was
usually
like,
they're round.
Right. So it's like, how is no one going like, hey, there's people
we're gonna
on
have
a
to
misty screen.
Suspend our disbelief.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Absolutely.
For
yes,
this,
definitely.
For this section. Because, yes, when I was reading it, I was like, okay. So Percy gets the drachma, which was... There's a lot of things that are, like, dropped for payoff later. Like, there were for the audience, like, for the reader. Mm-hmm. There were ships and what's it called? Oh, my gosh. What they're on. The Princess and
cruise ship?
Cruise ships. There are cruise ships in the harbor. There are, Percy has only one drachma, but Tyson pulls out all the money. Like, there's all of these things that are, like, dropped. Yeah. And so he grabs this last drachma out of his pocket, and as he throws it, he says, "Traitor!" And then Luke dodges it easily. Imagine if he caught it. The coin sails into the rainbow-colored water, and we know from the previous book that Percy can send an iris message, and he says it silently to himself. Oh, goddess, accept my offering. So we get confirmation that, like, you don't have to say that out loud necessarily, because this does work. And he's like, you tricked all of us, even, and this is in all caps, Dionysus at Camp Half-Blood. And I'm just like...
I know. Well, the funny thing is the "at" isn't, so my brain reads it, even Dionysus at Camp Half-Blood.
Totally.
But because I could just imagine him trying to, like, emphasize Dionysus and Camp Half-Blood more, so that it's, like, clear. Yes, like who he's trying to contact. But yeah,
it's so funny. But, apparently that doesn't raise any suspicions of anyone.
No.
And so Percy sees that the fountain is shimmering, and so he knows that it's working, and he wants to distract everyone who is apparently distractible and not able to see this, which is what we're suspending our disbelief around. And so he uncaps Riptide, his sword. And Luke sneers, and he's like, "There's no time for heroics. Drop your puny little sword. I'll have you killed sooner rather than later." And then Percy just, like, absolutely ignores that and is like, I am on a mission to make you villain monologue. Like, you will villain monologue. And he's like, "Who poisoned Talia's tree, Luke?" And Luke's like, "I did, of course. I already told you. I used Elder Python venom straight from the depths of Tartarus." And I'm like, Luke.
I know. This is a little bit where I was kind of like, my God, you're really not.
Like, Percy doesn't even say, how did you poison?
He just offers that.
He offers extra information.
He doesn't even go, like, you already know. Why are you asking me?
And then that's it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, he says you already know, but he says it anyway in front of everyone.
He confirms that he did it.
Yeah. So, okay.
Details how.
I'm suspending. I'm suspended in the air.
The only case I can make is that Luke is so thrown by the fact that the fleece is not there that he is out. He's completely out of his thinking brain. He's panicking. He's freaking out.
I think that's what we're intended to think. What we're intended to think is that Luke has been very off-put by this whole situation and is very angry, like the way he's pacing and stuff. And so Percy is more easily able to egg him and poke at him. Yes. But Percy continues, not satisfied yet.
No.
Chiron had nothing to do with it.
Right.
Like, okay, I think that would make Luke suspicious, but it doesn't. He's like, he would never do that. The old fool wouldn't have the guts. And then I think that this is also where, like, the sort of mustache twiddling thing is happening too. We're just, Luke is so James Bond villain right now.
He is.
And so Percy says, you call it guts, betraying your friends, endangering the camp. And then Luke raises his sword and he gives Percy the rest of his plan.
He
just
does.
Of his own volition with zero prompting.
I know.
You don't understand the half of it. I was going to let you take the fleece once I was done with it.
Yeah.
Okay, Luke. Thanks for the unsolicited
And that throws Percy off completely. Because he's not expecting that at all whatsoever. No. But Percy has to, like, refocus it on, like, okay,
he just
I can't
tells
deviate.
himself he must have been lying.
Yeah.
You know, he's just like, he must have been lying. Because, so then he's like, all right, no, we're still doing this.
So we're trying to get all the points of the plan.
You were going to heal Kronos. Luke's like, yes. The fleece's magic would have sped up his mending process by tenfold, which is kind of what we were referring to earlier.
Yeah.
But you still haven't stopped us, Percy. You've only slowed us down a little. So we know that it reminds me a little bit of like the Sorcerer's Stone in Voldemort. It's like
totally.
that would have brought him back, but it doesn't mean that like he still can't come back. It's a little bit like that. It's like just because he can't get his hands on the fleece doesn't mean that like there isn't another way. And we already know he gets stronger with every demigod that joins his cause.
Yeah.
So.
It reminds me, I also was like thinking, you know, about like Palpatine and just how like the best like big villains have plans A through like M, you know, in terms
and are
of
essentially immortal.
Yeah. Like if this fails, then I'll do that. I have this backup plan, I have backup plan on backup plan on backup plan. And, you know, I'm going for the fastest route, but, like, I have 1,000 to pick from.
Yeah, exactly. They're all good chess players. All the big bad villains. Yeah. So, okay, we're not done. So Percy's like, so you poisoned the tree and betrayed Talia. You set it up. All to help Kronos destroy the gods? And then Luke's finally kind of getting tired. I've been tired. He's getting tired. And he's like, you know that. Why do you keep asking? And finally Percy reveals, because I want everybody in the audience to hear you. And he's like, what audience? Luke's eyes narrow and he looks behind him. And so does everyone else, because everyone else was in front of the rainbow somehow. And they gasp. And stumble back. They're shocked. They are shocked. They're all clutching their hearts. Yeah.
Yes, clutching their pearls. They can't believe it.
Yeah, they're pearls. Above the pool, there's the rainbow mist, and you can see Dionysus, Tantalus, and the entire camp in the dining pavilion, because it is sunset after all.
Oh, is it? I was trying to remember what time of day.
Well, the rainbow is coming from the sunset light. Is what's described to us, I believe.
Oh, right, because we start within the distance the sun was setting behind a city skyline. So, yeah, they're all there for dinner.
And they're on the same time zone.
Right. So that works out. They are indeed. Yeah.
East Coast. So, and they're all just there, like, in stunned silence. Like, fortunately, none of them said anything when the call came on.
They all knew to be like, oop, we're eavesdropping.
Yeah. Like, imagine if one of them just screamed or gasped or something. Right.
Yeah, did literally anything that made any noise.
Literally anything. Yeah, they don't.
Yeah.
And so then Dionysus is kind of hilarious. And he's like, well, some unplanned dinner entertainment. And he just says this dryly. And then Percy is like, you heard him.
Percy's really he's like, I'm confirming with Luke. I'm not confirming with Dionysus. Percy is like,
yes,
he is like CYAing to the max. He's like, I need to sign. I need you to. I need a witness. Yeah, I need a triplicate. Like
notarized.
By 5 different people at every level of government. Like he's like trying to close every loophole for someone to possibly doubt this in like any way whatsoever.
The truth, which like you know. When, as much as he was disbelieved at the beginning of the book, I do think that there's something there. And also, like, Zeus has sort of, like, poo-pooed what he was saying. Like, I think, you know, he wants to prove what's going on. And he's like, you all heard Luke, the poisoning of the tree wasn't Karen's fault. And Mr. D sighs, I suppose not. And Tantalus is like, the Iris message could be a trick. Like, he's trying to, like, hold on to any last scrap of power, which is not happening while he's trying to chase this cheeseburger around.
Right.
And then Mr. D basically says that he needs to reinstate Karen as activities director and that he actually does miss the Pinochle games that they would play together. And this is super interesting. In this moment...
Yeah.
Tantalus actually is able to grab the cheeseburger. This is the first time he's touched food the whole book, and maybe in 3,000 years.
Yeah.
It doesn't bolt away. He's staring in amazement. He's like, I got it!
Yeah.
And then Mr. D says, we are no longer in need of your services, Tantalus, and you may return to the underworld. You are dismissed. And he's like, no! with a lot of O's, as he dissolves into mist and he is not able to get at the cheeseburger.
He is not. And importantly, the campers explode into cheering. So
they do.
Everyone clearly hates him and everyone is thrilled that he is gone now.
And then they all know that Percy did that.
Yeah.
Which is good. And Luke also does his own no. He bellows in rage. No. He slashes the sword through the fountain. The Irish message dissolves. And Percy's feeling pretty good about himself because, he's like, yeah, that worked. I got you to monologue in front of everybody. But Luke gives him a murderous look. And this is very interesting. He says, Kronos was right, Percy. You're an unreliable weapon. You need to be replaced. And I also, this is the second word in the chapter, I underlined extra and starred. Because this relates to what he admitted to Percy earlier.
Yes.
But Percy does not have time to think about this because one of Luke's men blows a brass whistle, the deck doors fly open, a dozen more warriors pour out. So, we're just keeping adding to Luke's forces. Yes. They make a circle around them. The brass tips are bristling, and we get a nice dun-dun-dun ending to this chapter where Luke smiles at Percy and says, "You'll never leave this boat alive." Dun-dun-dun. Dun-dun-dun. Again, so, Bond villain.
Very, very much. He's just kind of in that energy.
He really is. He's just fully committed to the bit. Any final thoughts on this chapter?
I don't think so. It's exciting to be at the end. It's really fun.
We're so close.
We're so close. So much is really starting to pay off, and yeah. Any last thoughts from you?
No, I didn't expect us to digress in so many directions, but I enjoyed them, and I want to revisit the thoughts we had.
Yes.
And yeah, I just don't think I ever realized how much of a cartoon Bond villain Luke becomes in this section, this chapter,
very much
in the past. So that's interesting.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Well, then we will see you next time when we find out what happens if Percy does make it off the boat alive. When we read Sea of Monsters, Chapter 18, The Party Ponies Invade. Bye.
Bye.